So welcome everybody to our next best of 3 series. We have the Russian Circus going up against the SaltyKoalas, which is the round of 16, if I'm not mistaken, in our HGC Qualifier. It's qualifier number 3, so this is the last qualifier. The last chance for the teams to make it into the league in 2017, which will grant you, as a team, if you make it through the entire season, $100,000 in attendance fee for a team, which is basically perfect because they can just simply focus everything on esports here. The teams that qualified so far are Dignitas and Fnatic, through them attending BlizzCon. We had Misfits and 2B's determined, qualifying through the first qualifier in Europe. And in the second, the Damascus Boys, which is the team of Alex the Pro G and Eternal. And on top of that, Be Genius, a French team, were able to qualify. So in this last qualifier, it's a super stacked field for those last 2 spots. And we're currently looking at the Russian Circus, who actually was in the lead in the last semi-final with 2-0 against Be Genius. They were 1 map win away from making it into the league, and then they lost 3 in a row because the French just played such an excellent series there. Now they have another shot, but first of all they need to go through the SaltyKoalas. We are on Dragonshy. It is our first map. I'm not alone, I'm with Tetcher. And as we see the draft progressing in front of us with a huge ban focus on the globals, we're of course going to head in here to give you the coverage of draft and game.
So to start off with the draft bans, we're going to be seeing the double global bans. Felstad and Dahaka removed. We've seen Dahaka just show absolute dominance in the majority of the games he has been in so far, so not too surprising to see that banned out. But with picks, Malfurion getting the priority here, so that gives them very high probability of maybe seeing a Vala or maybe a Li Ming for the SaltyKoalas, whereas Russian Circus prioritizing that Tychus and the Muradin giving the ETC over.
Yeah, ETC given over here right now, and well, we're talking a bit about Russian Circus. They are, of course, a heavily aggressive team. This is one of the trademarks of a lot of the Russian teams that we had in the past. But the one thing that I want to point out with this as well is that we had a bit of a switch in players on the side of the Russian Circus. Mopsio is not part of the team any longer. He's now playing in this third qualifier for Jabronis. As you can imagine, a lot of these teams get a bit nervous as the last qualifier starts. They're trying to see if they need to make adjustments, and this is what they're doing right now. When it comes to the tank role on the side of the Russian Circus, Power of Dream has now taken over the main tank role, and Hydra is now on the second tank or the melee assassin if that's needed. So we will have to see how exactly that works out for them. The Koalas, now that we're heading into the picks after the ETC, which Tetcher has mentioned, have now also picked off the Zarya. So we already have shields in addition to Malfurion and heading into the bans right now. Tetcher, you've been talking a bit about Vala. In this case, she is actually banned out now.
Yes, that means that if they do want to pick one of the only the 2 top heroes that we see with Falstad a lot of the time, then Li Ming is still open for the Koalas, but Russian Circus could bring that out as well. SaltyKoalas currently need to consider what their second ban needs to be. Like you said, they already have the Zarya and their support, so it's going to be a support ban here.
Yeah, and with the support ban, it's of course them shutting down another global as well. So the only pseudo-global that we have in the game so far is the ETC with a potential stage dive. And yeah, this is of course one of the maps where coordination is absolutely everything. So shutting down globals is for a lot of teams very essential, or at least trying to pick them up for yourself. We have one last pick for the Russian Circus, and they're actually playing a Karazim, which we don't see all that often as the dedicated healer, but he has started to make a bit of a comeback. Not only here, also when we're looking at the Chinese tournament that is taking place this week as well. Sevka is going to play on that hero. We have them with the potential of going for a dedicated solo laner up at the top, which could be a Chen, it could be a Thrall. It's interesting to see that Thrall hasn't been taken. And I also want to point out again that Variant is actually allowed, ladies and gentlemen, in case that people were wondering.
So far, we have yet to see him picked, though. But you mentioned the Karazim, like you said, championed a little bit in the Gold Cup at the moment that we have been seeing. But in the EU, it has been Sevka who's been championing it through, and he's been the person we've been seeing playing it most of the games. Koalas finishing up with the Alarak, getting that good snipe potential, and the Kael'thas. We have not seen that for a while.
I like, we've seen a bit of Kael'thas in but played by the Koreans mostly in China, and I think he is still one of the most undervalued heroes that we have right now. I don't really feel that he has to necessarily be part of every single draft here, but I think overall his potential is just absolutely amazing, especially when we're talking about newly found loves for heroes like Thrall, who now has the Earthquake. Comboing that off with Kael'thas is just absolutely fantastic. Didn't necessarily expect him on this map, I have to say. I would have seen him more on a map like, let's say, for example, Tomb of the Spider Queen, or him again on Infernal Shrines, but he still can get the value for sure. He also has, of course, the isolation with the Gravity Lapse. But I love the last pick here for the Russian Circus. They're actually going for Misha again. So Misha is going to try and dominate the top lane together with her pet Rexa and trying to get that range damage in. But Misha overall very strong when it comes to that. She can simply like go onto the shrine and let Rexa push the top lane himself. So that works. So yeah, let's see how that pick is going to work out for them. Dragonshy is the first map in the best of 3 series. So let's jump in right away and see which team is going to take the lead here. Ladies and gentlemen, it is game number 1. We are looking at Dragonshire, and to the left in blue, it is the Russian Circus. The personified clown fiesta that is Hydra on Misha, Neon on Liming, so Ice Cream on Tychus, Sevka on Karazim, and Power of a Dream on Muradin. A team that nearly made it into the league, but they are still a little bit farther away since they have to go through that third qualifier. They lost to Be Genius in the last one. To the right side of the map at this point, we have Karsi on ETC playing for the SaltyKoalas, Mugi on Zarya, TRQR on Alarak. We have Fana on Kel'Thas and Mishko on Malfurion.
So starting off with the level 1 talents, Kel'Thas with a Flame Strike base build with that Convection. The applied force, fairly normal for Alarak there. Demolition's Expert and Prog Rock, double stackings for the side of the SaltyKoalas. And it's Iron Fist for Karazim.
Exactly, Sevka is channeling the hate of every Hero League player and Twitch chat viewer right now, going into the Iron Fist on level 1 on Karazim as the solo healer of his team, where we are seeing Misha moving up to the top, leaving Rexa for now a little bit in the background so that she can get all that glory of fighting Alarak on her own. Down to the bottom of the map, we're still seeing now the rotation a little bit broken on the side of the red team. And actually talking about that rotation, it looks like we have a lockdown on Zarya. She's dead. The Russian Circus taking the lead in kills, and they're not done yet. They want to have another one. They go for Fana. Power of Dream jumping in, body blocking, and that is goodbye Kel'Thas.
And that is a huge head start coming in for Russian Circus right now. Just dancing around the map and grabbing some very easy kills. Zarya with some immense tankiness and staying for her team, but not a huge amount of escape is exactly what we saw there. Hydra running Misha in via Alarak's route here to get control of that top shrine straight away.
So Misha deciding in this case to claim the shrine herself while leaving Rexa in lane and pushing that wave, that lane back a little bit, the minion wave. It's a super early Dragonite, 1 minute and 35 seconds. That's when they get the first one here. The stacking process also, of course, as mentioned before, on the side of Muradin on 2 hits so far. They push the bot lane, whereas Power of Dream is currently in the middle, busy racking towers and taking them down. Misha is at this point going for a little bit more heal here with a Hungry Bear. Just wants to make sure that she has a bit more sustain on lane here. And it's working well for her. She's actually really giving Alarak some trouble. And having in the back, of course, always Rexa as a pet and being able to target him towards the solo heal up at the top lane works to help her out quite a lot. And it really forces TRQR back at this point.
Yeah, he's basically stuck behind his wall. The Dragon Knight does finally explode, but that tower will eventually go down. Oh, some good damage there onto Power of Dream, but he is Muradin. He will allow his trait to sustain him back up as long as he stays out of battle for at least enough time.
So the Russian Circus with 2 kills against 0, and they have a huge lead in experience. I mean, that early Dragon Knight really did wonders for them. Not only dropping the towers in the mid lane, but also creating space for the bot lane to push in even further. But we have the first big move on the side of the red team, trying to get angry. The Koalas not only salty, but trying to channel the inner anger that they have here. The problem is that it kind of failed. A good dodge by ETC though, and with the Crowd Surfer, he's able to escape straight through the debris. Very well done. But Misha is still doing fairly well at the top lane. Oh, decides to stun out Alarak, but Rexa is not following it up fast enough for the extra damage. Doesn't just have that burst available on him.
Yeah, can't really do a huge amount as of yet. The balls will help a little bit with that. If he decides to go for it, could go for the extra fair damage instead. But for now, like you said, not able to do a huge amount. But both teams racing towards their level 7 talents, but it will be hit quite a bit earlier for Russian Circus thanks to that huge advantage they got earlier on.
Now, when we're talking about Kel'Thas, it's of course all about Convection as a level 1 talent. You need to make sure that you get these stacks as fast as possible. So far, Fana on his Kel'Thas died once, but he is at this point back to 5 stacks. He died very early in the game, but he didn't really have any stacks to speak of. But up at the top lane, Misha is still doing fairly well. So Hydra currently stunning him out, and that's the kill against Alarak. Very well done here. Great rotation, a good kill, and also at nearly the perfect time here, 10 seconds until the Shrines are going to be activated. So they are pressuring the objective again. They have level 7. All the trump cards are in the hand now.
Zarya does make her way to the top lane to make sure that no XP is lost for the SaltyKoalas, at least. But Russian Circus just showing some serious domination. This time it's going to be Rexar who captures the Shrine in the top lane, leaving Misha to continue to push the lane. But either way, that is the second Dragonite of the game with no contestant at all going over to the Russian Circus.
Yeah, and they are walking straight into the middle with him, splitting on 3 lanes as they do. We have Misha also using now some extra damage on Rexar with skilling him onto the Bird of Prey so that he can help her taking down the minion waves. And that is really resulting in the lane being pushed quite heavily. We have the towers already drained of ammunition. One tower is down. The mid lane is being attacked still by Sir Ice Cream on his Dragonite. And down to the bottom of the map, we're still seeing a 3-man push against Karsi and Fana, which at least allows a couple of stacks on the side of Kel'Thas. The problem is he still has only 7, and that doesn't just give him that damage output that he really wants.
Yeah, he's really struggling at the moment. He, like you said, wants to just get his stacks up. He's struggling at the moment. Russian Circus just not letting him get that convection up. Ice Cream saying goodbye to Zarya as he continues to push in. Runs out of minions, so he's just going to use the last Restoration here to do as much damage.
Sevka with the heal at the bot lane. It was nearly a kill against Neon, but Sevka doing very well here, making sure that his backliners are still alive. Now Misha at the top lane has so far really annoyed TRQR quite a lot, but we have level 10 now in, and that helps with Unleash the Boars. Misha gets silenced. She doesn't care. She just keeps attacking. It's just like paw after paw straight to the face of the minions, taking them down. But Misha himself is in trouble. Misha knows that, of course, is immediately moving back to help him out. She knows that he's a little bit fragile, so you always need to keep close tabs on him. It's not easy being a bit bad bear these days.
Yeah, Bear has to do so much work. Not only does she have to just dominate the lane, she also has to protect the useless half-orcs. So she's done an exceptionally good job so far, and as such, Rexar has just crushed this top lane. He's even got time to do this mercenary camp before anyone else comes down, and ETC falling in the bot lane.
ETC dying here, exactly. So the mercenary camp is taken over there. Misha just decided that with all of the heroes at the top lane, Rexar was not quite in a spot where she could keep him alive, so she decided it would be better to go for the camp first. Rexar, of course, followed, and now with the camp they have a much better shot of defending this while the rest of the team pushes. So she's really very considerate in that sense, that she allows the rest of the team to just have that sustain at the bottom, and she's interrupting all of those channels to the top right now. Even going for the boars now, telling Rexar when to hit the ult, and that just delays all of these channels back, and it results in a keep taken at the bot lane. So that was perfect. It doesn't get any better. You have 4 heroes pushing the bot lane, you interrupt the TPs, you interrupt the Hearthstones, and then you can just like simply allow them to take a keep 7 minutes into the game.
Yeah, beautiful play here from the entirety of Russian Circus, but like you said, Hydra just absolutely insane decision making in that top lane, preventing those ports, putting Misha's life in danger to begin with. But she knows her risks and she knows she has to make them, and that has put Russian Circus up to their level 13 talents just in time. It's going to be tight, but they will have level 13 in time to at least contest these fights. We're seeing Misha currently giving Alarak some free stacks, but Alarak is in danger because Typhus is rotating up.
Misha is laughing into Alarak's face here. She is tough and she knows that there comes the counter-strike, but goodbye Alarak. Misha taking another victim here on the map. 5 kills against 0, and we have 13 versus 11. A 2-level lead and the talent that comes with it. Healing Static has now been chosen with the Thunderburn and the Iron Forge Momentum. Despite the level 1 talent where Muradin tries to stack his damage, it's still the full sustain build that we have. Misha is joining the battle right now, deciding that the times of her being solo at the top are over. She has to move back though. She really wanted to go for the team fight here, but then she realized that the rest of the team was just a little bit too scared and decided to move back. But it allowed still Sir Ice Cream to go for another Dragon Knight, which now results in them barreling through the mid lane, while top lane is still pushing thanks to the camp she took earlier.
Yeah, Dragon Knight guarantees the fort and will continue to push in here. Like you said, camp finally cleared up in the top lane by Alarak, so that is at least a little bit of pressure off the SaltyKoalas, but they're still in a rough position. It's alright. Let's continue to push forward here. TRQ1 does not have the deadly charge. He does have the counter-strike here. So engaging from this angle is very risky for him.
Yeah, Misha is of course once again in the middle of things. That's where Badass Bear wants to be. She had a nice talking to with Rexar a bit earlier because he was AFK in the backline and she didn't like that too much, but by now he's really trying to contribute a little bit too. But she's still of course calling the shots here. So Ice Cream is moving with that Dragonite to the top lane now. They killed the fort in the mid lane. The experience lead that they just got from taking down structures is insane. I mean, just look at the minimap. There's like, this is the last fort, and basically they haven't lost anything. The Russian Circus is doing so well here, and they're already looking for another kill.
Digs out, balls come out again, trying to take down Zarya here. In comes the stage dive though, with the silenced Karasine could be in danger. Flame Strike kills it off. Misha also killed off by the Phoenix.
Call Peter! They killed Misha! My girl is dead. Hydra on his Rexa is a sad panda right now and needs to move back. But Misha, guys, I really can only tell you again, she will be back. She's not gone forever. We will see her again.
Yeah, Misha, like all good heroes, that's right, she's not the pet. Remember, she is the hero here. She respawns, and she respawns quicker than Rexar. Doesn't matter what Rexar does, Misha does it better, except attack from range. But still, Misha can chase down.
Of course she comes back faster. She's more important in this setup.
Yeah, she's better. Simple
the one thing that we have to say, though, for the SaltyKoalas is they actually have level 13 now. So all jokes aside, this is really the moment where they might be able to make a bit of a counterplay. Of course, they have to win a fight, and then they have to start taking down structures because they're so far behind. With that keep loss at the bot lane, there's constant pressure against the lane, which is a huge problem. Well, Furin actually decided against an Ice Block, went for the life seed for the extra heals here on 13, and we're having now the Pyromaniac. With the quest teller on Kel'Thas also completed, they finally have the damage output, but Kel'Thas doesn't get close enough. He wants to go in. Phoenix is in play, but he's isolated, using the Graviton Labs to just lock them down here for now. The fight is split at this point, and Fana's joining up with the rest of the team, not playing it too risky, but they are so close again to falling behind in a talent since the Russian Circus is picking up level 16.
Yeah, and Zevka barely able to escape thanks to burning the palm on himself and using Quicksilver, his level 13 talent, to escape. But now, to combine with his level 1 talent, he has that Way of 100 Fist. Now, for those who aren't aware, the functionality on this did change from its old one. It now doesn't just replace auto attacks, it still is auto attacks just with less damage, so it does combo with Iron Fist, so you're not missing out on damage by taking that with the Iron Fist level 1, which is why we are seeing it here. The other option on this level, you can get a Dash Cleanse, but right now, don't appear to need it. Russian Circus choosing to forgo the Dash Cleanse, which can put Karazim in danger in exchange for more damage, which could also put him in danger, but there's no danger if the target is dead.
It's really like the Russian Circus has a subscription on these Dragonites. That's what it looks like right now. Whenever one is up, they immediately get it. Like, the delivery is really on point. I'm a little bit jealous here, I have to say. That's a very reliable service that they ordered here. So the Dragonite already barreling down on keep number 2. And instead, we also have, by the way, on Karazim, not really the most damage, but still decent heals here. And I mean, this is the stage after the backline. They're trying to go once again for Karazim here. He's already fighting. There comes a silence. That was a good one. Really well done. Down goes Karazim. Maybe the opportunity for the Koalas to make a bit of a comeback. Still a talent down and more than a level, but they are fighting back, saving the keep for now, and doing well. Especially that backline Kel'Thas does so much damage to this.
Yeah, especially now that Kel'Thas is fully stacked on his convection. He stayed far enough back to finally get it. Misha way away from her allies right now. Hydra controlling it from over the wall, but Misha down again. She gave her life to save the Dragonite. Dragonite will expire soon, but that means that Sir Ice Cream is easily in a safe position once it expires.
You could tell it was an intentional sacrifice. Misha knew that there was trouble brewing, and she said, well, these plebs in the back, I have to save them. It's sad and it's like a nuisance, but I have to do it. So she sacrificed herself. She knew she would be back in just a bit, and she is back to business, and she is angry, and you don't make Misha angry. Misha looking for the kill here, but the Ice Cream, the first one, dish out a bit of damage. Misha is on the move, goes for the stun, wants the kill, but doesn't get it and has to retreat. And you know why? Because the rest of the team was once again scared. Misha ain't scared. Misha wants to brawl. But, well, we had all those ranged heroes that are a little bit more on the squishy side deciding to move back. And she said, like, fine, we can fight later.
Yeah, the entire rest of the team was caught in the Flame Strike, and Misha's like, did you not learn how to dodge? Watch me. Just go straight forward. But they are all caught, took too much damage, and were forced to retreat. Now we're going to see the SaltyKoalas begin to take their own mercenary camp. For one of the first times, Misha continuing to harass from below, getting some vision, causing a bit of duress to the SaltyKoalas here. But Russian Circus still in control, and once again they found Zarya, but Parabeam gains vision of all the other heroes here and decides to fall back.
We have 16 versus 16 talents right now, and this is really starting to be something where the red team can start to make their plays. We've been talking about this, the damage output on Kalphas in the backline with a completed quest. The also cooldown reduction thanks to the Pyromaniac jumping into the backline, trying to split them. Already we're having to focus here. Look at the silence, down goes the first one. Tigers is eliminated, and this is what we've been talking about, all these AoEs, but Kalphas is blown up. Was it in time though? That's the big question, since we already have Li Ming and Tigers destroyed. The damage is gone. They get Kalphas, but it's already too late. His damage output is incredible right now, and he's really helping them. ETC jumps the backline, splits the team. They have the silence on Malfurion, which so far has been pretty much on point in the last few team fights. We are really seeing the angry Koalas, or the salty Koalas, getting really angry after they were very salty in the early game. And angry Koalas are forced to be reckoned with, as we could already witness in the last two battles, and they are really starting to close this gap in experience. With all the structures still on the board, every tower right now brings them closer to taking a lead in EXP.
Yeah, they're just creeping their way back into this game, clawing it bit by bit, but they are still in this. Kael'thas and Li Ming respawning at very similar times, so they will both be on their way to help their teams. Muradin currently not with the Russian Circus. Oh, Misha just standing there taking the damage right now, but gets rooted. Misha will die again. That is a little bit more XP going over to the SaltyKoalas. Yep. But remember, like we said, she'll be back very quickly. So she'll be available to help out the team, but she is needed right now. She is required, because right now it's 5 versus 5. Both teams attempting to get good positioning here. But ETC about to make the best of his global. He's going to move to top and attempt to grab that shrine.
Misha is definitely starting to grieve a little bit here. She's really angry with how the game is going so far, and I think her teammates have to start to calm her down a bit. But this is the engage that could really happen. ETC jumping and not hitting anything this time. Keep also Alarak in mind. He did so well in all of these fights, going again for Karasim, and he is down. They're jumping to the backline without a heal right now. ETC is in so much trouble. Misha takes him down like a boss. Once again, stunning 3, a triple stun, and they go for Malfurion, who's about to fall. Fana is already dead, but it's a counter kill against Li Ming, as we're seeing finally Malfurion die too. TRQR is stunned again. Misha, she's had enough. She stuns both of them out, gets the kill against the first one, and there's Daria. This is an entire team wipe, and they're starting to walk towards the core, going straight for it. Great fight there, super coordination, and Hydra with 2 incredible stuns against 3 and 2 heroes.
Yeah, and Power of Dream just getting so many great thunderclaps there the entire time, just slowing the escape, allowing Misha to keep up. That was just very good fight control. The kills that we did see from SaltyKoalas were on point, but it was not enough. Just superior fight control from the Russian Circus is going to give them the GG, and they will take 1-0 in this series.
Really well played here. So the lead in the series, getting the level 20 talents here at the end, but very solid play on the side of the Russian Circus, taking the lead now. Okay guys, the second game is on Brexit Holdout. We have the Russian Circus going up against the SaltyKoalas, who at this point need to win 2 maps in order to make it to the next round. It's the HGC 2017 qualifier for Europe, and it's the last one. 2 more slots, and that's it then. Then we have all the teams that are going to play in next year's league. Right now, the Russian Circus is in the lead. They have the ban here. We also already saw Misha played on the last map. There is still a chance that we're going to see her again on Brax's Holdout, since this is, of course, another map where she gets a lot of value, thanks to her having the ability to control a lane and take a beacon. But the first thing that happens is that the Russian Circus is shutting down globals. We have seen a huge rise in global picks, especially Dehaka, as after BlizzCon and at BlizzCon. He is probably the biggest winner out of all of the heroes when it came to BlizzCon. He found his way back into the meta, is a huge part of it right now. It's very enjoyable to see these global compositions, and the SaltyKoalas are also trying to shut that down with a false dead. Before we continue with this, I want to highlight again, Varian is allowed. Qualifier number 1, qualifier number 2, he was banned out. Typically for Blizzard official tournaments, the rule of thumb is if a hero is released 2 weeks, he's not going to be played in an official tournament. All the other tournaments that are not officially Blizzard tournaments can still decide that they want to have a hero earlier in in their own tournament drafts. So you might have seen him in a couple of online tournaments already, but in official Blizzard tournaments, this is the first one where he's being played.
Yeah, well, you say the first one he's being played. So far, we have yet to see him be picked, but we still hold out hope.
Yeah, we do. And we have our Gul'dan back. Alright, so we have Gul'dan in here. Wave Clear. Brax's holdout is to a large extent about wave clear.
Yeah, you want very easy ways to clear the Zerg waves. You want as much potential to push up the lane so the enemy has to come as far away from their base as possible to get to the beacons. You really want any kind of control that you can over those minion kills.
So for the Russian Circus now, wave clear is still not on the board. I mean, with Malfurion, you have a nice setup. You can go into a Vala with the cooldown reduction and the mana. She can spam that out. You can do a very similar thing with a lot of other heroes too. We've seen Li Ming's capitalize on kills here. We have seen, again, top laners taken, like Thrall, like Rexa. Alarak can make a comeback here. Tychus is always a great pick in the current meta since he pressures especially tanks. The grenade alone does already a fair amount. So yeah, at this point, we have them with a very solid base for their draft, but not a lot of wave clear outside, like not a lot of like dedicated wave clear. Let's put it like this. Tychus alone with the overkill, of course, can provide a fair amount, but he doesn't really measure up to someone like let's say Vala, for example, or Gul'dan that we already see. Even the Falstad with the boomerang build can do a whole lot here.
Yeah, both fairly good at clearing with the Falstad, like you said, a little bit more, but he is banned out, so Circus, they now get their choice on what they want to ban out. They already have their support, so we may see a support ban out. Sylvanas managed to sneak through the draft all the way so far, and we're seeing some great points so far. The potential for the Rexar for the solo lane here, again, seeing as how well Hydra did in it last time, is quite high.
You mean Misha?
Yes, I do mean Misha, sorry.
Okay,
Well, you have to give a bit of love. You have to shout him out sometimes.
Dude, he was AFK half the last game in the backline. Didn't you see that? She got so angry with him, she actually had a talking to. She said, like, dude, you have to actually pull your weight here. I can't do everything for you.
This is true, but she did say it in bear language, so it just sounded rawr, and that was it.
Yeah, that's true. Like, if you didn't understand it, then you probably haven't caught it, guys. So yeah, my apologies. I should have mentioned that. But you're right, Tetcher.
Yeah,
so
but that's Rexar's fault as well. He works with her so much, but he hasn't made even one attempt to learn her language. He learned his.
It's crazy. It's really insane. It's a little bit. I feel it's very disrespectful.
It really is.
But we are seeing the Sylvanas that you pointed out. She hasn't made it through the draft so far, and she is picked up at this point. So we have that potential to snowball with the Zerg waves. And also, of course, the potential of her just being part of a very strong four-man lane and trying to push that in. So that's something that the Russian Circus needs to be very worried about at this point. They need to make sure that they are going to at least that they are able to at least push back. But we still need a solo laner for them. Again, Chen, Alarak, Thrall, Rexa. There's a lot of choice of what they could go for. When it comes to the damage output, what else can we see? I've even seen like Zul at solo top lanes lately, which we talked a bit about. But yeah, in terms of wave clear, let's find out what they're going to do for the bot lane.
Yeah, like you said, they still need a decent amount of potential for that. Some of the picks that we saw at the start when this map came out, but not so much recently, the Sergeant Hammer would have been potential, but they go for the Jaina here, so that's a good amount of wave clear, very quick wave clear as well. Now they need someone for that top lane, and I still think the Rexar could be good for them. They could also go for the standards like Thrall, Alarak, or any of those other ones, Chen, or even Leoric.
I could have seen Kalthas for them too, over Jaina here. Jaina offers, of course, with Ring of Frost a lot of lockdown. You have a lot of abilities here that really just like slow down, capitalize on stuns as well, or set them up. But the Flame Strike would have been another great option. If you play him on the bot lane, then you usually get your stacks in a fairly swift amount. You have good poke against the beacon, which would necessarily put you in a position where you also need a strong top laner, so you at least hold that beacon. And it's Misha again. So they choose Misha, they go for her. With how Hydra played her the last game, that's understandable. The Koalas, on the other hand, we still expect a top laner. Do you think we are going to see the Alarak again?
Potentially. Alarak does, of course, get free stacks off of Misha if that's the build he wants to go for, but you might want something a little bit more steady. But the fact is, it's very hard to lane against the Rexar due to the fact that he is soaking the lane and holding the beacon at the same time. It's what makes him so powerful on this map. So you really want someone who can bully the Rexar part and kind of ignore the Misha part, because if you can bully the Rexar out of lane, then he's going to start missing the XP. And yeah, they might control the top shrine for a bit, but eventually you'll be able to make a play on that. So the role's quite good for this, for the poke potential. Zagara can actually work here, but you need to play it so well. And it's going to be the Leoric going to try and go for the drain power.
And Tombs can be quite strong here later on. Just looking at the setup, in terms of escapes that we have, it's very limited. So if he can set up decent Entombs, the potential combo after that with a good Wailing Arrow onto the Entomb targets, especially if it's more than one, and of course Corruption being stacked in the Fell Flame, there's a lot of plays that you can make with this. So yeah, Leoric didn't really like in my head, it wasn't really listed on one of the heroes, but he has the wave clear here. He has the Drain Hope. So yeah, they go for that double setup. I'm curious for this game. That's going to be an interesting one. Again, the Russian Circus is in the lead, so keep it in mind. They only need to win one more map to advance to the round of 8. So we're going to jump straight into Brax's holdout, and we're going to check out which team is going to win it here. Game number 2, everybody, has just started, and once again we're seeing the Russian Circus deal with the SaltyKoalas. They got a bit angry at the end of last game, but they need to channel that anger if they really want to win 2 in a row now. The Russian Circus was very close to qualify in the second qualifier, and this time they want to make it happen. To the left side, we see Karsi for the Koalas on ETC, Mugi on Gul'dan, Mishko on Oriel, Fana on Sylvanas, and Tiakyuar is playing Leoric. And to the right side of the map, it's Hydra again on Misha, Power of Dream on Merlin, Ice Cream on Tychus, Sefka on Malfurion, and Neon is playing the Jaina.
So, starting off with the lane split, we do in fact have the Leoric on his way up to the top lane. Now, they had an opportunity to maybe swap out the Leoric for the Gul'dan here if they wanted to try it and do it that way, because it could have got some good stacks and harass the Rexxar part of the Rexxar-Misha combo pretty effectively, but they want to leave it in the bot lane to try and control that as much as possible. We also saw Jaina head up to the top lane to give Rexxar a bit of protection, because there is a strategy where you just roam straight up to top lane and try and kill Rexxar as quick as possible to try and gain a bit of a boost, but weren't able to get it this time as everyone was playing a bit too far back.
Yeah, and also, if you are Rexxar in the solo lane, you should actually wait to at least have vision at the bot lane so that you know who is actually there. If you get, because the problem that you have with any solo laner is that oftentimes you see that in lower leagues in particular, that people are trying to just like get kills way too earlier. They are too aggressive at the beginning and think them on the solo lane means they need to kill their target right away. And if you lose that lane, if you die to a gank or to an opponent setting up a trap, you lose way more than only just those few seconds. You actually start to lose experience a lot. At the bot lane, a kill is still pretty solid, but the only thing it gives you is a little bit of lane dominance. Now that we see Gul'dan die, we still have 3 heroes that can soak experience and push it back. So him falling is not the end of the world for them. They can just simply get him back quite quickly because the death timers are so low. Top lane is a very different meta. It always needs to immediately be countered by rotation if you lose one of your solo lanes.
That lane dominance, though, that you did mention is actually quite a big deal here for the Russian Circus, due to the fact that SaltyKoalas have Sylvanas. You want to dominate this lane, because if you don't, if you start to lose this, then Sylvanas will start to snowball that out of control. So the fact they were able to get that kill, put themselves that little bit ahead, not in terms of XP, like you can see, like you said earlier, they're all still fairly even on that, but just in terms of control and preventing the advantage happening for the SaltyKoalas.
So we have already Misha up at the top fighting together with Rexxar over the kill. And there's another kill against ETC down there. They really need to be careful with this. There's like a lockdown and stuns there. They can't poke from a distance. They lose Oriel too. I really think they are overly aggressive down here. They have the poke available to them thanks to Gul'dan. That should for now be enough, and then Fana can push the waves back. At the top lane, it's very likely, well, I mean, it's tricky for them. The problem is they're going to lose the beacon up here to the top, so I guess they have to be more aggressive than usually would be. They would probably love to just simply poke a little bit, but at this point they can't because they're losing both of the beacons.
Yeah, but now we see exactly how top lane was going to end. Now we have Hungry Bear for Misha, so she is just going to win this, basically, and Hydra pushes the lane. In fact, Sir Ice Cream even coming in for an aggressive play to try and kill the Yorick to snowball this lane even more. Doesn't get it, and as such, bot does fall in the 4 versus 3. But still a very aggressive play that just makes top even harder when it was already a nearly impossible lane to win without help.
So again, guys, like ideally for the blue team, for the Koalas, what they would like to do is just poke a little bit the entire time over to the beacon, let that one go for a bit, poke the opponent down with Gul'dan, and then engage when they really see, okay, we have the kill secure now. Nice crowd surfer here by Karsi, but they are still suffering on Mishko, who with Oriel might fall again. The big problem that they have is just simply with them losing the top lane to Rexxar, they have to claim the objective here, which is what forces them to be way more aggressive than they would like to be. So they are always fighting themselves down a hero thanks to just Tychus dishing out the damage and the lockdown through Stormbolt stun into a root on Malfurion. Power of Dream even aggressively jumping the camp right now, since they were thinking, well, maybe they're even like maybe someone is sitting there, we can jump on them, drop another Stormbolt and root, but in this case they just claim the camp and have now the lane pushing even heavier than before with Sylvanas against them, of course, now.
Yeah, the Sylvanas will help clear this at least a little bit, but with these four heroes here and a level advantage, which will soon turn into a talent advantage after some of these towers go down, this is going to be very difficult to defend. Stun and Root land on ETC. He does face melt and is able to escape. But this fort is probably going to go down. The Zerglings are already dead thanks to Sylvanas, but the Hydra's doing some serious damage here.
Yeah, not only the Hydra, the level 7 talent comes into play now, completing the machine gun build, but Muradin was a bit too far out. Thankfully, they get the counter kill against that, though, so they trade 1-for-1 in tanks. Sefkaje needs to be careful on his Malfurion, though, so they actually give up the potential kill on the fort and just, like, retreat for now. But they got a massive leading experience. They're level ahead. They broke through the wall. At the top lane, we see a similar picture with the Hydra just pressuring the entire wall, both the towers out of ammunition. Him getting the damage in, going into the Bird of Prey as well to clear the waves even faster. So things are actually looking very, very strong for the Russian Circus, even though we're still very early in the game. And with the level 7 talent for the Koalas, they are not out of this yet by any means.
No, they are still in, but they need to start making some plays either in terms of grouping for team fights or in terms of raiding the enemy territory, because they're not going to win the lane setup. We've seen that the entire time.
Once that they have a bit more, I feel like once they have more damage on Corruption in particular, they might be able to make a few more plays.
This is aggressive.
This is a really aggressive boss.
It's not even coming to help for this. They have to know. They can't see anyone on lane. Scout to ETC. I'm pretty sure he saw it.
Nah,
maybe not.
They would have done something.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, this is exactly what we are talking about. The Russian teams are incredibly greedy and also very, very aggressive overall. I'm sure they would have moved back if they would have seen, okay, our opponent is going in. But they are just doing stuff like this. They move in and try to just sneak it in. And I don't really believe that at this point the opponent had any idea this was happening. They should have sent someone to scout, but they probably just let it go. It's just like, well, they're definitely going to do that, are they? And we're like, oh damn, they just did.
Yeah, well, now they have a boss. They have that Archangel, they have KO. It's going to begin pushing in that top lane. Paraphrasing, dropping a little bit of harassment. Bot lane is being counter-pushed, and Sylv is here. Rexar cannot defend against that. This is what should have maybe happened earlier with a rotation. But either way, the top lane going to push a bit harder because, although it's pretty close, boss is stronger than Sylvanas in this case.
Yeah, and we still see Soak, of course, at the bot lane. That level 10 is going to be another big problem. Once level 10 is in, and that's going to happen any second now that the tower is also falling, we're having them with a potential play. So Ice Cream could even drop the Odin here and just say, like, let's try and make a play for the keep. I mean, that boss is still on half health. But now the rotation is coming to the top lane, trying to defend S5. And that allows, of course, Rexar to already take the beacon at the bot. The rest of the team moves straight up to the top. And with them having an entire level lead and the level 10 ability, who's going to contest this? I mean, you can't really go in or you are risking losing another hero. And another 100% versus 0% wave could be a disaster for the SaltyKoalas.
They had to pick a lane and go in as 5. They didn't do it. The Auric was deep pushing top, and as such, we do see Ariel get focused down. The balls came out. They weren't even needed here, although they're trying to actually catch ETC as well. He's trying to run to the 4, but the 4 has no health. Why didn't he? Couldn't get to the keep. And as such, he's zoned out. Gets over the wall, but it's too late. He is dead.
The water elemental gives them so much chase potential right now. With them dropping not only the top fort, but also the wall down here this early, they just go for water elemental over Ring of Frost and have now the chase potential in every single one of these engagements. And it really shows. ETC would have escaped without this. So now the slow is there, the water elemental being used by Jaina. We're having at the same time them still with a 2-level lead. The wave is in. That's 100% Zerg wave up at the top. Of course, there's 0% for the opponent's team, which makes the wave incredibly weak. And this is going to result in a keep taken down if they commit to it. And I mean, there's no reason not to.
Yeah, they're committed to the Odin, so that is a pretty big commitment. Guardians finally arriving here, which allows them to siege. Level 10s have now been hit for the SaltyKoalas, so they have a chance to defend. The keep's already gone, but if they can get some kills, it might be worth. Good route by Malfurion on the landing there. Silence hits Leoric, who gets decimated by Tychus, and ETC does escape though.
Yeah, ETC escapes, Leoric is down, and so is already Gul'dan. That's most of the damage gone, with Allreal also falling. That's the heal right there. They don't make a play for the core, it's still a bit too early for that, and the death timers are very, very low. Their hit point pools are also rather low, so it's not really easy to sustain themselves through another fight here. But they can easily move back with the level 13 talent that they have now, massive lead in experience, a 3-level lead. They can take the camps on the map, and yeah, it's a fantastic position for the Russian Circus to advance to the round of 8.
Yeah, they are looking so strong right now. Beginning to rotate down, they're just grabbing globes right now, sustaining themselves so they don't have to be, giving themselves some mana, and helping Rexar complete his stacking process, because the game is still only 9 minutes in, so Rexar has not actually been able to finish stacking yet. He's getting very close, but still has a little bit of a ways to go.
Yeah, the one thing that could really turn it around, I feel, is that if they get the drop on them sometime with a good Entomb, I think. I mean, right now, the camps are all taken. The one that they didn't take, oh, they aggressively make the move over. I like it. They actually let theirs go first. They check the bush here, and then they are seeing if they can make a play for this one up to the top left. And that's perfect. They're going to get a kill against Leoric. Oh, maybe even more than that. They're trying to slow them down.
The splash slow. It's not enough, but that was so scary. The splash slow coming in from the water elemental, giving them so much potential. They steal the Merc Cap, get another kill, and the beacon's still not even up yet. They haven't even activated. They aren't even close to activating. So more mercenaries is the name of the game for the Russian Circus.
There's a boss there too. I mean, what could actually... I think they have to be careful with this, since a lot of stacked heroic abilities could still ruin their day if they waste too many hit points on the boss. But they can make that play. Of course, Leoric sees it, but this is the moment when with a good Horrify, you could make a lot happen here. So Meridian is probably trying to zone a bit. Feels bad, man. Leoric standing straight in that. The rest of the team moves in, but ETC is going to stage dive for this.
Yeah, ETC has the stage dive on this. The Entomb lads. In comes the stage dive. They get the silence and the fear. They take down one. And they get the fear. No, they didn't take that one. They did finally take down Muradin. Sevka also take it. They steal the boss.
They steal the boss away, but they lose 3 heroes. The question is, how many more are they going to lose to this? Sylvanas dies. Mugi is on the run. Run, Gul'dan, run. Barely dodges that hit from Jaina. That would have slowed him down even more. Bot lane is still pushing, so is the top lane, but the boss has been stolen away. Even with a talent disadvantage and 3 levels behind, stacking all of the heroic abilities allowed them to drop 2 targets and also get the boss.
Yeah, they shredded that. That was a stage dive, silence, fear, and an entomb onto 2 heroes there. Just, those heroes got shredded. But overall, the fight at least went in favor of the Russian Circus. Just nothing else did. They did lose the boss right now, but they are now have the beacons. They're back in control. They got rocked a little losing those 2 heroes, but they won the fight overall by taking those down 3 heroes in exchange. 4 heroes, sorry, in exchange. And now, with the Zerg, they're going to push in via bot lane to try and end the game.
It was still funny, though. I mean, you knew it would happen. You knew they're not letting that go, so they had to do something. And they prepared even before the boss went down by immediately activating Odin so that they had ready for the team fight. Now the boss moves in. This is really the moment of truth, because right now they need to make sure that not only that... Like, currently the Pandas, they need to somehow save the core. They're going to lose the keep either way. I mean, the minion wave alone is already guaranteeing that. The question is the game going to end here or not? There comes the stage dive. The fear is on the ground. The kill against Malfuri. No ice block prevents it for now at least. But Sevka still falls. Muradin runs away. Neon is also low on his Jaina. The keep might actually survive. Look at this, they're actually saving it.
Won this fight. They're going up to Sir Ice Cream. Banner chasing Jaina, gets the kill with the Shadow Dagger in the backline as well. Now it's Sir Ice Cream who's desperately trying to take down Ariel. He does. He's not going to get out of there. He is absolutely doomed. But he was able to guarantee a kill before he died. Now it's Hydra trying to duel with Fana here. Power of Dreams healed back up. But overall, that was a 3-for-1 in favor of the SaltyKoalas, and they saved their keep.
It was a fantastic defense. I would have bet money on at least the keep falling, if not more than that. And with the way they engaged, they had the ETC stage dive, the Horrify came straight after that, then shortly after the silence hit, so all of the heroes couldn't do anything. One of the game-winning moves was actually isolating Malfurion this hard. With all the damage dropped on him, he never had a chance to get his ult off. That was the most important part here. With the silence by Malfurion, that teamfight would have been completely snowballed the other direction. But in this case, he had to use Ice Block immediately. And then they were trying to save him, but he exploded right after that duration was over. That was fantastic play by them. If Malfurion gets that ult off in the middle of the team fight, it's game over. Well, maybe not game over. The keep falls for sure, but it might be game over as well, depending on how the fight goes. That was their way back into this. This was incredibly well played. I never thought they would be able to pull that off.
Yeah, the ult combos from the SaltyKoalas are their saving grace right here. The stage dive into Horrify has been pretty brutal every single time right now. Now they're going to push top lane and try and guarantee themselves a fort, but they can't do it. They have to be back right now if they want their keep to live. We're going to see everyone make their way back to the base, except Sylvanas, who actually did mount up a bit.
they're fairly late with that TP. There's a lot of damage on it already. Now the camp comes in. Okay, there's the Odin. They're starting. Leoric is looking for that Entomb. It's 16 versus 16. Stage dive is in. They're going for Sefka again. Sefka is there. Entomb is on the ground. And moving in. Malfurion trying to go for the silence. Khaldor is dead first. Sefka still not using his ult. Waiting for it. Here comes the Twilight Dream. And that wrecks the entire fight. He waits for a long time to drop it. Moves in finally. And then we are seeing an immediate triple kill following it, and this is now a move for the core.
Yeah, much better this time. Good splits. The Horrify was not able to grab multiple people. It wasn't even used in that fight, so that is going to be GG and Russian Circus. Very nice.
Really well done here. The Russian Circus, they move forward. Great play by them. They got destroyed in one of the team fights, but they brought it home. A 2-0 victory, and they move on to the round of 8. They will play tomorrow and make their stand to participate in HGC 2017.